Today I feel like answering questions. Let's do it! What bass should I get? I recommend foregoing all of the little starter package things and going for something more in the $300 range. I like the Squier Classic Vibe Vintage Modified, but most brands make a decent bass in that range. If you are completely strapped for cash and you do end up going with a starter pack, I highly recommend it getting set up by a technician before you start playing. What amp should I buy? If you're going to be doing nothing more than practicing in your bedroom, I recommend getting a Rumble 15. These guys have a little headphone jack that you can use for silent practice. If you're planning on playing with a drummer or in a band, then you're going to need something bigger. I suggest at least a 15-inch speaker or two 10s. Anything less will simply not be loud enough. Can I just play my bass through my guitar amp? Yeah, but I wouldn't really recommend it. The amp would be okay, but bass tends to ruin guitar speakers because they're not built as heavy, so do so at your own risk. Should I buy used gear? Sure, if you know what you're looking for. Used gear can be just as good as new and is sometimes a better deal. However, unless you know what you're looking for or have a friend who knows what they're doing, you're just as likely to get ripped off as you are to find a good piece of equipment. What's the best... Stop. There is no such thing as a best piece of gear. Period. It does not exist. The only reason people play certain equipment is preference. So my advice to you is to play as many different basses through as many different amps and develop your own preferences. Yeah, but what's the best bass for metal? Seriously, there's no best anything, and you can play metal on any bass. What are some good beginner songs? Well, that kind of depends on your musical taste, but I would recommend Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillaz, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, and Money by Pink Floyd. I'm going to put a link up here if you want other suggestions. Go check that out. How do I sound like? The short answer, use the same technique and equipment they do. I did just make a couple videos that explain some different techniques, but if you want to sound like the guy from Muse, you're just going to have to get the same equipment and play like him. My advice, get good at playing first, worry about tones later. Okay, well how do I get good at bass? Practice. A lot. If you're not sure how to spend your practice time, I'll be making a video very soon about how to do that, so subscribe if you want to see that. In the meantime, I suggest learning every song you can and maybe even throwing in some scales like the major and minor and pentatonic scales. Also, don't be afraid to learn music outside of your preferred genre. Tabs? Tabs are a great place to start learning a song, and in fact I do use this website right here from time to time. But it's been my experience that tabs only ensure that everybody plays a song the same wrong way. Learn to develop your ears and don't just blindly play what's written. Also listen and watch for patterns because that will help you learn music. Also, I would say it does not hurt to learn standard notation either. The more things you know, the more versatile and skilled you'll become. Should I get lessons from a teacher? Yes, get a teacher. While there's nothing wrong with being self-taught, you will progress much more quickly if you have a teacher. You're way less likely to develop bad habits, you're more accountable for your progression, and you'll never not have things to play. Get a teacher, at least at first. What should I upgrade first, my bass or my amp? I say amp. A crappy bass will sound okay through a decent amp. A bad amp will sound bad no matter what you put through it. I play guitar. Is it hard to learn bass? I myself actually started out on guitar before transitioning to bass and found that to be pretty painless. The basic mechanics of pressing frets down and plucking is the exact same as are the notes on the fretboard, but what you'll find is that bass is different in every other way. The role of a bass player is largely support, and so a little restraint can be the difference between a nice tight groove and being a wanker who overplays. This actually applies to most musicians, but learn to play these, because music is more about the space between the notes than the notes themselves. Why should I listen to anything you've said? This is a great question, and you should ask that of every piece of information you see or read on the internet. Am I credible? I don't know. Check out my videos. You decide. Okay, that is enough for now. If I didn't answer your question, just be sure and leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. And remember, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. And if you're a stupid people, you don't have to stay that way. Thanks for watching.